Alright, as promised, here is an update on my Traveler's Notebook system and an update on what I'm enjoying, what I've been using, and a future project that I'm excited to kind of dive into. Now today, I'm going to give you a little bit more details about my Louise Carmen here in this pocket size. And it is a trifold style, but just kidding, it's not a Louise Carmen. A lot of you guys thought it was a Louise Carmen, but it was inspired by the trifold design. And I had made this myself. I'll link down below my process of how I make my own Traveler's Notebook systems, but it kind of like was based off of that. I just use the same tools, same scissors, same cutting mat, razor, and the only thing that's different is the leather. The leather I typically get it that I've shown before in the past was from Michael's Arts supply store, but I found some really good leather that I will link down below. And when I say good, it's good to my standards. I don't have a local like leather shop near me, so I just kind of winged it and took a chance through this seller that I came across, and yeah, it worked out for me. And I love this beautiful, I don't know if my light is picking it up. I'm trying to do this video during the peak time, but it's a like deep, rich wine, like a Merlot color. It's a burgundy color, which I really, really, really like. And it may look brown. Maybe it's picking up. Here's my pocket. They're both pretty well patinaed. I've used this since like spring, pretty much like around April, and it's pretty well used and loved. I'll go over more details. And then this is the Travelers Company brown color. But it started off, let me show you a scrap of, do I have it laying around here? Hold on. Okay, right here. This is how it started. And you can see with my use and wear, yeah, here it is. This is a pocket size. Now the insert that I'm using here is actually an A6 Midori brand, but I cut it down. And that's one little suggestion I would give you, is that if there's a particular brand of notebook that you like, but they don't make your size, just consider cutting it down. So if you want maybe like a B6, B6 size, just cut down an A5 size. If you want A5 slim, just cut down an A5 size. I like pocket size, but Midori, the cotton notebook, they don't make a pocket size. So I just trimmed it down, and then I rounded the corners here. And yeah, this is like my little junky catch-all notebook at the time, and it really bulked up because it has like 170 pages. And when you make your own, especially a trifold, you want to have in mind what type of insert you're going to be using. Do you want multiple inserts? I knew I was just going to use this one. And that's why instead of using the elastics in the inside, like the Louise Carmen design, Louise Carmen is the French brand that's kind of trending right now, that makes this trifold style. But instead of adding the grommets and putting the elastic, I knew I only needed like, this one notebook, because it was going to get chunky on its own, and I wanted to allow it to get chunky. So I got a little sticker that I stuck on here, so you can stick it on the leather. And then this is a DIY pocket that I made here on the back to keep all my paper ephemera. But here I just put the pocket there, and it worked. It held in place. It still continues to hold in place. And you can see with my design, I really wanted it to be flush, because this Midori A6 is slightly higher than like like a pocket moleskin or the Kaye. So it can work with both. They're interchangeable. And the reason why I decided to, start making my own was because I can create it as flush to the edge or allow enough overhang as I would like. The one thing about the Louise Carmen design that isn't for me, I would say, and that's why, I have not shown it, because a lot of you have asked, like, do I have one? What are my thoughts on it? And I did not want to influence anyone to buy it because I have it, or was sent it, because I don't like I don't like how short that flap is. And again, if you are familiar with my channel, you know my journals get pretty chunky, especially when I'm using like my moleskin journals. And their design, that trifold flap is like close to the edge already. And then I've seen some people, when they chunk it up with accessories and the inserts and the folders, it's like hanging on like barely, like that. And to some people that's fine, but for me, for my personal preference, I really wanted the flap to go over. And what's nice about the way I designed it here is that I can put this in the inside and then like this. It's definitely hugging it like a cute little sandwich. So if it did get really, really, really bulky, and if somehow my design, it did start to kind of, you know, expand and pull back, all I would need to do is just tuck it under, which it still has enough room, and it would still look like it wouldn't look like, you know, it's barely hanging on there. So that's that. The way I design this, because again, I know a lot of you wanted details, I put the elastic punch right here, you know, in on the spine versus like in the back. And yeah, it was, you guys, this was really, really easy to create. Once you get your ideal leather piece, again, I will link down below how I show you how I make these, but you really just want to get the size of the notebook that you want, get the leather flap, and just play around with where the edge is, how you want it. And another example is, oh, this is just like a paper clip with my Kirby charm that I put on here because at the time, well, around April, I was really into my Nintendo Switch game, the Kirby Forgotten Land game. So yeah, I got this and I was in my little Kirby phase. Now I'm obsessed with my other Switch game, how come I always forget it? Fantasy Life, the girl that travels in time or steals time. It's a fun game. But this is the same burgundy leather, just another piece of it, and I just created this as a pocket size instead of the trifold. So I'll put this aside for now. And this, one thing I like about this leather, and one thing I realized about myself, and I think you'll learn this in time as you get familiar with other makers or how you actually use your system. I like to have a traveler's notebook system kind of like flexible for my lifestyle. So if I want to keep this at my desk, you know, it's perfect for that. But if I'm going on a weekend trip, if I'm going on vacation, I still like my leather to be somewhat light, and I like when it's like flexible. I've used, you know, other brands and makers and, you know, particular leather that were like thicker or stiffer. And again, it's totally up to your preference, but that's just not my preference. And that's one thing I liked, and I can still continue to like about the Travelers Company brand, is that their leather is on the thinner side. So it doesn't take up a lot of weight in your bag or in your purse, or even just, you know, if you're carrying it around in your satchel, whatever. It's pretty lightweight because, you know, I'm a bulker and I will bulk in with my ephemera, my own zipper case. You know, after you add in all of your accessories, it's still somewhat lightweight. And this leather that I came across is still very, very lightweight. Now this is a pocket size, and going back to what I was explaining earlier, put in the insert that you know you're going to use, and then once you have your leather, just kind of play around with where you want it to end, how you want it to kind of come to the edge. And for this particular design, I did not put the sticky paper. I actually punched in the holes here. I didn't put the little grommets, but you can see it's a little wonky. It's not exactly perfect, but I still love it because, you know, it has my creativity behind it. And if you're familiar with the Hobonichi Japanese stationery brand, this is Hobonichi Weeks, the sneaker version, not the hardcover. And I've shown this many times in other videos, but just in case you haven't seen those, I cut this down and I chopped it off, and it's chopped off from where the Sunday is at, if you're familiar with the Weeks version. And this is the Mega, so it has all those extra pages. And going on the inside, yeah. So the Sunday is cut off, but I can just add it right here. And then if you look at the monthly, it's just the extra right here that's cut off. I really like this because if you like the Hobonichi week system, but maybe you don't like that long rectangular style, consider, going to your local Staples, or maybe if you have a big paper trimmer, you can just chop this down yourself. So I think in 2026, I'm definitely going to do that. This has been really, really handy. And I first tried that with my 2024 version, and I really, really liked that. So especially for those if you don't like moleskin, the moleskin pocket notebook, which I don't mind, but I do find it convenient that the Hobonichi brand, they have the month at a glance, and then they have your that has information. Hold on. They have your week at a glance, and then of course the mega version has like this extra 200 pages. So I made a pocket size for this, and it's slipped here in the elastic. And that's one nice thing about making your own, is that it's budget friendly. Again, depending on where you find your source, the supplier, but for me, where I found it very affordable for me to play around with the systems, and I did not feel guilty that I not consumed, but that I made another cover. Like if I bought a pocket and then I bought a passport and then I bought a regular, this is already going to total around $150, when I actually can make all three sizes with the one leather. I think I found like a 12 by 24, all three sizes with that one piece for like $19 or $20. So I don't feel guilty, and I'm saving money, but I'm also creating the cover based off my personal preference. So for this particular size, it's pocket, but if you notice, I left a little bit of overhang right here. It's not exactly as flush as well, this isn't exactly, it's flush on the top, but it's not exactly as flush on the top here and on the side. And the reason is because I wanted to allow myself room with the option of adding a stick-on pen loop, which, where is it? Right here. We'll get to this. This is actually by the Travelers Company brand, and I actually had to cut this down. I've had this for years though. So I had this for years, and it was in the regular size. But that's the thing, I've outgrown the regular size. When they first came out, when I was talking about these like 10 years ago, yeah, this was fun. The regular size was fun. And then the passport size was fun. But, as years pass, as you change, your preferences change, I realized that my handwriting is kind of too big for a passport, and it's really hard to find passport size inserts. It's a lot more convenient for me, at least, to find pocket size. I enjoy pocket moleskins, I enjoy pocket field notes, and then now with this little hack that I created with the Hobonichi sneaker weeks, I have like all of this month planner. It can be in pocket form. It doesn't have to only be in that Hobonichi rectangular form. So now I have this pocket size. And back to the pen loop. So here, this is a pocket size as well, but it's in brown. I don't know if my sunlight. See, that's why I like this burgundy, because it's dark enough where it doesn't look too red or too purple. It's like a deep, rich, like plum color, which I like. But you can tell, like in the inside here, you can see right there. I'm trying to pick it up by the sun. You could see the purple, the dye in the inside versus the brown. Okay, so right here is the pen loop. I'll link these down below. I get like a variety pack in the color. So when I created this, I made it so that way I could have extra overhang just in case I wanted to attach like a green pen loop or something like that. And my reasoning for that was because I was imagining myself using more of my fountain pens, especially because with this Hobonichi weeks, I like to use my fountain pen inks. That's like, I think why a lot of people like the Hobonichi brand is because it's very thin paper, but it's supposed to hold up well with most gel and fountain pen inks. but also, not being as thick and bulky like other traditional makers with notebooks. So I was thinking of putting a pen loop here and then protecting, like my Pilot fountain pens, or if I wanted to, put in a TWSBI fountain pen, it would protect it. So just imagine there's a pen loop. I left the extra overhang. If I was traveling, it wouldn't scuff up my fountain pens. So yeah, so these are my latest DIYs here. This one, I haven't shown this. I don't think I've shown it on my Patreon, but I haven't shown it really on social media just because I didn't want anyone to come at me for cutting a traveler's notebook, because it was my money, my resource. And the thing is, it's better to use and modify something where you're going to enjoy it versus keeping it in its original form and having it kind of go to waste just sitting on the bookshelf collecting dust or staring at you in the face. And that's what happened with this particular Travelers company standards. This is how it comes. This is the regular standard size. I'll put this off. Here's the camel just as a reference. And I had a second one here because this one is the Midori, and that the Travelers company was known as Midori years ago, 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, 9 years ago, and they recently just changed it to just Travelers company. And I wanted a second one because guess what? Knowing me, I was afraid now that this is it feels special, right? Limited, because they don't have the Midori. And this was my very, very first. This was my first love, the Travelers company. I got this back in New York City at Kinokuniya back in 2015. And this was back when I was blogging. I first introduced it on my blog at sweetkisses.com. And then fun fact, that is where my whole YouTube channel was how it was born, because I was showing these on my blog and then on Instagram, and then people wanted a flip through. But back in my day, kids, okay, back in our days, social media, 10, 9, 8 years ago, Instagram didn't have the reels that we have now. They didn't have the video formation like they have now, the format. And so I did it on YouTube, and that's where my channel pretty much came from, was starting with this flip through right here, and then showing my handbags. So yeah, my love has stemmed back from 2015 with this system, but because this is my first. And where's my passport? These two, I bought these two together. You can see they both say Midori. Do you know how many times I've considered selling these? So many people have reached out asking, and I'm always so tempted just to say yes, but going against my own advice, it's sitting on my shelf staring at me, but I feel this has nostalgic memories for me, because this kind of got me into the YouTube space. And I don't know, I feel this is a part of my history in a way. And I don't use these though. I don't use these, and I kind of feel guilty. So they're just kind of my bookshelf accessory. But with all that said, that's why I got a second one with the new brand, just Travelers company. It says just Travelers notebook instead of Midori. So I got this one, but I did not like the way it came. It took me by surprise, and it was kind of cold and a little stiff. And this is this leather is different. It's warm, and it's kind of on not suede-y, but it just felt totally different than this one. And a lot of you Travelers company friends suggested rolling it and bending it and just putting conditioner. So this was over 5 years ago. I pretty much just did everything to it. I put conditioner, put everything, and I rolled it, and then I just put it back in my box. It wasn't until recently I thought, you know what, I'm into my pocket size, this one. And after I made this, I thought, oh, let me try the brown. Let me see how this will work. Because you know what happened? this burgundy sold out for a little bit. I don't know if it was because I shared it on my Patreon. I'm not sure. But the seller that I went through, they were out for a good couple of weeks. So I got scared. And I thought, oh no, what if I can't find this burgundy color anymore? What am I going to do? So I was scared to use that. So then I cut this down, the Travelers Company. And it is not a passport, if you can tell, because the passport, like I showed you, this is the passport. It is a pocket. It's a pocket size. And again, the passport is, a little too short for me, a little too slim. It's very convenient if you have small handwriting. I've seen people that really make it work, but again, if you're familiar with my chicken scratch handwriting, my handwriting is big. And I feel like when I have a lot of ideas too, I don't want to like restrict myself. So I cut this down to be pocket size, and that's what I've been kind of using, just scribbling in my notes. And then I added the the elastic pen loop, and then these inserts I'm using are those same ones I showed on my video, the ones that are better than the field notes. They hold up well with fountain pen inks. So yeah, it's very simple setup, nothing to really go on and on about. Added a little clip here, added my own charm. This is from like a necklace that I had, and I just put it on there because I wasn't wearing the necklace anymore. Oh, and then the fountain pen. You guys know I'm really liking, not other than TWSBI, I have fallen down the Pilot fountain pen rabbit hole, and it all started with like the Coconuts. You guys know I have a good healthy variety, and then my vanishing points. But I really the Prera really grew on me because I like that the design is a little sleeker than the Coconut, because the Coconut, while it's very light and convenient, I don't know, I just like the Prera. It just has a sleeker look. But you guys, look at this. Is this new? I think it's newer. It's newer, right? This is the Pilot red brown Prera. I have the ivory, I have the clear. I know this isn't a fountain pen video, but for those, maybe you may be interested in fountain pens. I like the clear, and I have the ivory. It's somewhere around here, but these are really cute, if you are a fountain pen lover or user. Yeah, this matches the whole travel size, whether it's passport size or pocket size. I mean, this is also really convenient to use with standard, because maybe it's already kind of big and bulky and you still want maybe a light pen to go with it. I just find these elastic pen loops a lot better than the Travelers Company brand, because those are really hard to put on, and then when you do put them on, they do scuff your leather, which you can see right here. It does leave a mark on there, and I never could really connect with the leather Travelers Company pen holder. So now I just use the elastic, and yeah, the Pilot Prera. This is the newer. This color, I got this because it matched so well with burgundy. Yep. And when I did this trifold, the pen, I have misplaced it. I don't know where it went. I was ready to put it on here. I'll link it down below, but it's that color, that burgundy color was like the perfect fit, the perfect match for this and for the Travelers Company, the red, by the way. Yeah, I'll be selling this because I know I'm not going to use it. So I'm going to post this in my Instagram stories, maybe after the weekend when I have time to go to the post office. So keep an eye out if you follow me on Instagram. Yeah, I will be posting that because speaking of, it's going to be sitting on my shelf, and I'm going to be selling this to the Travelers Hotel. I did open this and use this a few times, but we'll get to this in a little bit. But yeah, if some of you are looking for that, I'll be posting that. But if you get the elastic pen loop, I'm going to be adding that on there. And then the way I designed this trifold was so that way it still allowed me to still fold over, ta-da, and it would protect my fountain pens. So that's why I prefer just making my own Louise Carmen style. It's not really Louise Carmen, they're not the first ones to think of this design concept, it's been around for a long time. I've had a trifold from other makers like Lacalorite, but that leather was a little too thick for me, and it was really, really heavy. So this is really nice and thin. Moving on. Okay, so let me show you. This video is getting a little lengthy, but I know my regular subscribers, you guys don't mind. So the inspiration behind my upcoming Travelers notebook system is I've been having so much fun kind of cutting down and making my own style. So I have the brown, I have the burgundy. Okay, the camel. What is your favorite color? My favorite, I mean, I love them all. I think I go through like periods and like seasons. So I think like during the winter, I'm really into like the brown, like the classic brown. And it's just so like, yeah, classic. And then during kind of like spring and fall, I really like the camel color. When I'm on vacation and when I travel, I really like the camel color. And in time, I noticed too, like with the Travelers Company, their camel kind of varies based on the batch. So this is my very first one that I got. Again, a lot of people have reached out asking if I would sell this. I might, I don't know, but it has my name on here. But this was my very first one. And it was from their like first batch, I would say, after their 5th anniversary edition. And it is like a very nice light, as you can see, camel color. And then again, I don't know if they've changed it because I haven't purchased a newer one since then. This one I've used, so it has like wear and a little bit of, yeah, worn look to it, but you can see it's like darker. And then this one I got when I was in Korea. I haven't used it, but I just kind of picked it up because I was curious to see, and I like stamped it at the Muji down at their Times Square location. But I found this was like the closest color, but you can still see this more has like a yellow. This is slightly orange. So I think it's so fun because, the color, the camel color varies. And then this I actually purchased off of someone in Japan. So this patina I did not develop. They developed it and they conditioned it and they advertise it as so. And it's clearly used, but they've had it for like so many years. And I just love how it's like worn in. This is, can you see that shine? Look at that gloss. I love this. But again, I thought like, well, I'm not in this size. I should just sell this because I'm not going to use it. I was this close to cutting it down to a pocket size. I really was, you guys. I was so close. But then I thought, oh my gosh, what if someone is like dying to get like a regular size and I just ruined it? So all that to say, I actually came across a camel color that is pretty close to my satisfactory, I would say, for me personally. And here it is. Again, this is from the same source that they have this burgundy color. And what I like about it, it's not too red. It's a little bit darker than the Travelers red, but it has more of the purple hue. So here's the camel, and just to show you, this is the Travelers Company brand. Okay, so this is the well patinaed one, okay? Keep in mind. And then this is my original one that I got like in 2016. And then this is the newer one that I got. I don't know how old the batch is, but I picked this up in 2023. And then this is the Passport, the newer one. Well, it's their newer batch. So you can see this is like a nice camel color, and here is the Travelers Company brown, and then here is the Travelers Company brown. This is the Midori, the old one since 2015, and this is my newer one that I got, I think, in 2020. So you can clearly tell this is a camel color. So I'm so excited, and I wanted to share this with you guys because maybe you're like me and you love the aesthetic of the Travelers Company notebooks. You love the thought of using a leather notebook. but maybe you just can't, stick to the standard size or the passport size. Now you can DIY and make whatever size you want. You can make an A5 size, you can make a B6 size, you can make, whatever size you want. This could even be, again, this is a 12 by 24 that I got. So it's 12 inches in height and then 24 in length. But of course, you may be able to find another source. This is just me personally, and I can actually make one now for my composition notebook. If I flip this over, you guys can see. Like, yeah, I'll save hundreds of dollars doing that. And technically, I could turn this into like a cool trifold if I really wanted to, or I can just, turn this into one like that, and then this remaining scrap could actually be like another pocket size. So I'm so excited. I just now need to decide what I want to commit to. But for my subscribers, you guys know I love my moleskin sizes. And that is one thing. I love the camels so much. But, Travelers Company, what's unique about their brand is that they do have their signature sizes. It's always been just passport and standard, but I think that has given many other makers a great opportunity to kind of capitalize on that, because there are so many shops now and artisans that kind of are feeding the demand for people like myself that were looking for other sizes or other modifications, because these systems, this system from Travelers Company specifically, it doesn't come with anything other than the leather flap, the elastic, and one insert. So if you want like pockets and things like that, you would have to find someone that has like sewn in pockets, or you'd have to, buy the accessories that have the pockets, and that adds all to the cost. But with this, I can finally make my own moleskin, because moleskin is not as wide as an A5. It's slightly, slimmer, but it's so hard. Now it's easier, but again, when I really, really loved my moleskin expanded, do I have one right here to show you guys? You guys, it's been so hard. Like Lacal Lorite, unfortunately, he's no longer in business, but he was like the first maker that really was the one that was accessible for me to get custom made leather covers for this particular size, the A5 Slim. So now I can make my own. And you can see this is a beautiful camel, so I would just cut the top. But aside from that, okay, what I'm really excited, okay, so I'll link down the camel if you're interested. Some of you may remember that I did a DIY from Michaels. And yes, the Michaels DIY, the Michaels Craft Supply Store, they do sell the undyed, like the veg, like just the regular undyed. They sell the black, which is this one, and they also sell the brown, but it's 11 by 8.5. So you're pretty, like, this is wider than your standard Travelers Company. So if you definitely like to bulk up, here, I'll show you, because after I take off these staples, it looks like this. That's one thing I did like about the Michaels leather flap. I didn't have to cut it. It's just like this. So it is wider than the Travelers Company. You get like about, what is that, like an inch or so. So if you like to bulk it up for $9 with your coupon, because Michaels always has coupon, you can make your own. The only thing is they only had those 3 colors, black, brown, and the undyed. So the brown I've made before in the past. This one I turned into a pocket. This is from Michaels. But again, I'm happy to come across now this camel color, and this leather is very thin. So if this isn't your thing, you might want to consider, a different supplier. But it's perfect for me, and I'm just showing you some other options. This is, again, from the Michaels store, the black. See, here I did the elastic pen loop. What's nice about these pen loops is that it can pretty much, because it's elasticated, it can fit the wider pens. So if I do want to add in my Twisby, which has more of, like a thicker barrel, it could fit my Twisby. the rose gold diamond, or if I am using, my Pilot, like a slimmer fountain pen. This is the Heritage 92. So that's why I just love the elastic. And surprisingly, this variety pack, even though it was like on the cheaper side, I have not had one of these elastics break on me. So yeah. And this, okay, that's where I'm getting to. In this video where I showed you my customizations. Okay, going back to limited editions. Trying to wrap this video up, but I know for my Travelers Company, friends, you guys are excited about this, and it's been a while since I've really dedicated a video to Travelers Company, and really it's because I've been making my own, long story short. But this, okay, the special limited edition, as the name suggests, it's limited edition. They have not come back out with these. I don't think they're going to. And I have, I had the was it the airline one? I sold it, and then, but I used one of the stickers to, this is another one I cut down. The black one, I cut it down to be like A6. See how I can just like modify it, and then pen loop on top. Yeah, I just cut the top off. I like the elastic here in the spine. That's another thing too, versus in the middle. When you make your own, you can put the spine wherever you want. But for these limited editions, guess what? The way my brain is, if something is scarce, if it's rare, if it's expensive to me, I am afraid to use it. Why? Because I know the value of it, and it's too valuable for me to just throw around. So this one, I'm trying to show you guys. I took this on like literally just like a couple of trips, but I was afraid to get, I'm going to be selling this because I want someone that's going to fully use it and appreciate to have it. But you see it, I scuffed it, a few times, but I was so careful with this. I carried it in this little dust bag, and actually that charm, now that I think about it, one of the charms, I might have to cut this off if I sell it. I need to put it back part of the set because it's part of this set right here. You can see it comes with the key. I think that's the only thing I'm really using. Everything else I kept in. The stickers, yeah, everything is still, the pencil, and yeah, that was it. Okay, but I was so careful with this. Okay. Ooh, I have not used this, but excuse my dog. I have not used this charm. Oh, that's kind of cool how it's kind of patinaed already. Is that the word? Wow, that's so cool. Kind of has like an iridescent. Oh, okay, well, that's cool. But going back to this leather even feels kind of, I did not want to scrape this off. This foiling, you can even see if you look closely, like, ooh, if you look very, very, you see that little white on the T, a little bit like scuffed off, and even right here on the E, can you see that? Like a little bit, it got scuffed. Put it away. I put it away. When I got back from my trip, I said, nope. This is too precious. They don't even make this. I didn't even use this insert. They don't even make this anymore, and I was scared. So it's been boxed up since, when did this come out? 2021? Yeah, I went on my trip, came back from Hawaii, and just threw it back in there. Just threw it back in there. But that's not fair. Like, it's sitting in the closet when there's someone out there that's probably dying to get that edition. So if that's you, I'll have it available on my Instagram stories next week. First come, first serve. But with that said, limited editions, okay? There was the Moomin, the blue Moomin Travelers Company that came out. Was it available internationally? It was just really hard to come across. And a lot of resellers were, they're asking for more than what I am willing to spend, especially considering that I just told you how I did not connect with that standard size anymore. So then I thought, Michelle, why do you want that standard size when you don't even use a standard size? So I thought, okay, you're right. So that kind of held me off. The $600 resale value that people were asking for held me off for sure. But I have a blue Travelers Company, okay? And this is what I was using before I jumped into my Moleskine Expanded back in 2017, 2018. I was really, really loving this blue size. I'm trying to show you. Okay, let me get the Travelers Company black so you could really see it. Okay, so this is the Travelers Company black. Travelers Company, okay. This is the standard, but I cut it down to A6, really. So you could see it's the same width, but I just chopped off the top. But you could see, can you tell it's blue compared to the black? Yeah, it's like a nice, deep, rich navy blue. You can maybe even see it. Oh, I still have my Pan Am stuff. Okay. Interesting. But right here you can see the blue. And I really like this color. Do they make a blue Travelers Passport? Either way, it doesn't matter. I don't use it. However, I came across this color. It's sold out. It's been like, I had to keep checking back because I had it in my cart and then it sold. And then by the time it got back in stock, there was like one left. So I jumped on it. And I'm so glad that I got it because, yeah, it's the same quality of leather as the burgundy and the camel. But now I can make a moleskin size, I can make a pocket size, I can make a composition size, and the blue is it's really close to the Travelers Company, which I like. I don't want it to be like too blue, but I don't want it to be like too dark blue where it almost looks black. I feel like this blue is like good, at least for this batch that I have. And you can see that this is a blue. So again, I will link everything down below if you're interested. But I brought up the Moomin edition because I can make my own not limited edition, my own personal edition. So here you see that I did the stamping and I put the little Snoopy. I made my own little Snoopy version, which again I showed like in the videos below that I'll link. Just get your own little ink stamp. And then get some type of ink. I always remember this hack from Patrick on Instagram. I followed him, and he shared this back like on his blog when I was like blogging and I was reading blogs. And then when Instagram, again back in like 2015, 2016, he was one of the first people. I think he was like the first person I saw that he actually like stamped his cover. And I always remember that he shared that he used the Stays On. This is a Japanese brand, the Stays On brand. And I just used the white. Oops. Yeah. I just used the white and got my design that I wanted, put it on there, and it's like pretty much like permanent. So going back to the foiling on this, like the foiling's going to come off, but at least this, I can touch it up if I needed to. So not that I've traveled with this, but it's been pretty like, as you can see, I'm like rubbing it. It's pretty sturdy. The only thing is I got the gold glitter one. I don't really recommend that because the gold shimmer does rub off, but the white, just like the regular base color, it stays on pretty well. So with the blue, I'm going to do the same thing, but I actually have my Moomin stamps that I just stamp for like snail mail, for my pen pals on postcards, and I'm gonna make my own. So once I decide what size I'm going to do, most likely probably an A5 slim. Again, that's kind of like my sweet spot. I like that, but I also like carrying around the pocket size. Oh, here's the moleskin. You can see I already made 3 sizes from the trifold, the pocket, and then I made my moleskin from that burgundy color. So it's so fun. And again, it was like $20. So now, in these upcoming weeks, I'm going to play around with my system. I'll probably do a pocket size because I really like how light and convenient it is. But I might do a composition. I'm not sure. But I feel like these stamps are small enough where it'll look cute as, a pocket. So I might just do a pocket size. And then I can just get the blue pen elastic and then use the stays on. And I'll have my own $9 Moomin edition. It's not official, it's not officially through the company, but hey, it's mine, it's unique, it's customized. So that's all I had to yap about here with you guys. I'm looking around to see if I'm forgetting anything. Yeah, I'm still, enjoying my junk journal, so much so that I'm actually thinking about creating either the blue, here's a brown. Okay, hold on. If you're maybe you don't like camel or blue or black, and maybe you're just a classic brown lover, this is what their brown looks like. Now the company that I found, they have different colors too. They have like olive, they have black, but this was their brown, and this is comparing it. They had dark brown, but that dark brown was too dark for me. It almost looked kind of black, like a dark coffee brown. And I wanted to see how this compares. So it's a different shade compared to like the Travelers Company, but you can still clearly tell it's a brown color. It's just a shade or two lighter. It leans a little bit more on, I would say, like the redder side, as you can see. But I got lucky with this particular piece because look at these beautiful wrinkles. Tell me that isn't beautiful. Oh my gosh. I love that. So I'm definitely going to use that size. But I was thinking that in my next junk journal, not this one because I already decorated it and I don't need a leather cover, but I was thinking that maybe for the fall, I could make a leather cover for a composition art journal or commonplace book. So many possibilities. What do you guys think? I will see you guys in the next video. Wait. Before I log off, I almost forgot. Speaking of customizable things. Okay, charms. The blue. If you are into charms, look at, old bracelets that you have, necklaces, thrift stores, jewelry bead shops. Okay, this is like a thrifted button. Etsy sellers, eBay. Look, if you're looking for like unique charms, you can get some really good deals. However, if you want instant gratification like me sometimes, or you can use like little keychain or cell phone charms. But if you want something else, but something different and unique, and you don't like the charms that you see at your local like craft supply store, look at Home Goods and TJ Maxx. Look in their jewelry department because their stuff is always like seasonal. It's always changing out. They always have charm bracelets. They always have cute little earrings that you can like use your pliers and detach. This, I came across a bag charm, and I'm gonna repurpose this box. By the way, this is gonna be a perfect box for some stationery stuff, to a treasure box for my stationery goods. But when I saw this, I immediately knew that I'm going to add this to my Moomin edition, my DIY Moomin edition. This is a blue, not all the charms are blue, but I just like this blue cord. And this right here, I love that. I'll probably turn that, maybe I'll put it like somewhere, I don't know, I'm playing around with it, but it has like the blue heart. I really like this floral charm, and I can somehow maybe use the cord. Maybe I'll put it as my junk journal. But yeah, check out those like discounted stores, because you can come across really unique things. Like, look at all these cute charms I have. I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like over like 12 charms, where usual retailers, they'll sell a charm for like $5, but I think all of this, how much? I think I paid like maybe like $15 for this. And it has all of these cute charms that I can use on my own personal bracelet or for my Travelers company. So I hope this has given you guys some ideas. Bye.